You know, I failed to mention this last week. Um, this survey by U.S. News and World Report. By the way, we were quoted in U.S. News and World Report, I think it was 1996. 95, maybe it was 1995. It was after the Million Man March. This broadcast emanated from the Million Man March, actually, as we sit in the bosom of 1 million men. Actually, it looks like 2 million. We broadcast live. I had an opportunity to take my father and my sons and I. Incredible time that very cold Monday, 1995. So U.S. News and World Report got wind of it, and there was an interview, and so the rest is history. So U.S. News and World Report ranked states, and here the rankings are right here. And needless to say, my state, the state that I grew up in, the state that my mother's mother's mother grew up in, was ranked number 49. We moved up.
Not last, all right.
Moved up. Louisiana's last, bro. In healthcare, however, we're 50th. We are the poorest and the most unhealthy state in the nation, according to U.S. News and World Report. In education, we're 46th. Louisiana's 49th. And in the economy, we're 48th. Louisiana's 44. As far as opportunities, Mississippi's 49th. Mississippi's 50th. Infrastructure, 49th. Crime and corrections, we're 16th. We moved up considerably.
Really?
We know how to incarcerate.
Yeah, lock them up.
Fiscal stability, 45th, which is odd, strange, unusual, queer, given the fact that the Oxy conservatives have a rainy day fund that is, I would say, maybe even close to 1/5, maybe 10% of our annual budget of $5 billion, which means we got over $500 million in a rainy day fund, but yet our fiscal stability is that way. I'll tell you why it's that way, ladies and gentlemen. It's because we have a conservative concept of the economy in this country. I'm sorry, in this state is let's control it. You do get that, don't you? See, some African Americans and even Caucasians don't grasp the concept of the plantation system, the bigoted plantation system. Some of you think that it's merely about race, and it really isn't merely about race. Race, ladies and gentlemen, is the vehicle whereby the conservative can get done what he wants to get done. And what I mean by that is this. It's all about controlling the economy and having the feudal system. The feudal system is the very rich and the very poor. And what the conservative does is he utilizes the whole concept of race to maintain the support. In other words, the idea of him saying, the rich plantation owner say, look, I'm very, very rich and I want to protect that. I don't want to have people competing. I don't want you guys to have even the poor, dumb, white dirt farmer. He don't want the competition. He wants to control it. So what he does is he uses race for the lowly, poor, ignorant, white dirt farmer. He uses race to maintain his concentration. In other words, he blames the Negro or Eskimo or whatever the O's. He blames them for the reason for why the poor white dirt farmer is where he is.
To pit the dirt farmer against the...
Absolutely.
Oh.
Absolutely. This goes back to the 1600s with the British when they first came up with the concept of black and white in America. Now, I'm just explaining it. Don't hold it against me because I'm explaining it. So and I'm saying conservative for a good reason because that's what they are. I call them oxy-conservatives because it's acidic, and that's another story. But so the conservative came up with this idea to maintain the feudal system. I mean, the Lords did the same thing there in Great Britain long before we had an America. They would pit their servants against each other, fighting over the crumbs. And as long as you have the little people fighting over the crumbs, the big cat
can control the crumbs.
Absolutely, they got the whole ham. So in Mississippi, even today, ladies and gentlemen, that's why we're at the bottom of this list. You've got the very top individuals who want to control the revenue. Now, so when you come down to fiscal stability and we've got $500 million in the bank in the rainy day fund, that's their money. They will convince the little dirt farmer or the blue-collar Caucasian guy, well, look, we've got $500 million in the bank, and although our education, we're number 49th, and although when it comes to health care, we're number 50th, at least we've got money in the bank. And look, you got to make that sacrifice. They're not making that one sacrifice. They're living in their high hog little mansions there in Natchez or Flowood, and making sure that at least around their house the infrastructure is okay. You got me? This is what happens. Which is why now we're in, and by the way, there's something else I failed to mention this, and this is both statewide and national. What Oxy conservatives don't want is a Rip Daniels. What they don't want is a method whereby a little guy can move to the top, whereby a little guy can actually work his way up. And there's many who's done it in spite of them. You got me? I mean, many little guys. Warren Buffett could be an example of what I'm talking about. There's several people who, came from nowhere and eked out a living, and because of some kind of the fact that they worked themselves tirelessly and a whole lot of blessings, a whole lot of luck, they ended up being able to compete with old money. You got me? Old money is the conservative individuals. Their whole thing is to maintain their control. He's the guy that literally runs the city, right? And if by chance there's a guy who's making as much money or as he does, then needless to say, he's losing that grip. You know who owns the city at any given time? New Orleans. Let's say the chocolate city of New Orleans. You know who owns it? Not the chocolate. Not even the caramel. That's the Creoles. No, it's old money, ladies and gentlemen. You ask who owns Canal Street, who owns St. Charles, and you look who's living on it, and look who owns the property, and trust me on this. It's the same Confederate stronghold that was there before, actually going back to the French in some cases. So anyway, back to our being almost at the bottom of this list. So fiscal stability, we're 41st. Quality of life. Oh, no, I'm sorry, I said 45th. No, we're 45th. But listen to this, bro, and see if you can guess why we are here.
Okay.
Quality of life. Where do you think we rank?
40th.
6th.
What? I'm laughing and I live here. And I love my life.
We're 6th when it comes to quality of life.
Wow. That's real. Wow.
Quality of life. Mississippi is 6th.
Well,
That means there's only 5 ahead of us.
Fat and happy, I guess.
Quality of life. Well, I don't know whether you would say that or not. Quality of life, number 1 is North Dakota. Number 2 is Minnesota. How could you have quality in a place that's freezing right now? Got blizzards. Number 3 is Wisconsin, another freezing place. Number 4 is, let's see, where is number 4? Quality of life, quality of life. Number 4, here it is, New Hampshire. They have a blizzard too. We are behind New Hampshire in quality of life. Does that surprise anybody?
Huh.
How is it?
I think there should be a correlation here. I know New Hampshire has it, but I think there should be a correlation here between marijuana legal states and quality of life.
I agree, Ron.
Why? Why would you just automatically amen that? I can't. What is it with you guys?
Because I really don't know.
And what is that haze over that room in there?
Any other way? Put it up. That someone in Wisconsin. Of course, I haven't been there. I'm not from there. I don't know. But someone in Wisconsin.
What the heck does this have to do with marijuana? We are the only state that can grow marijuana.
Well, we grow.
We manufacture marijuana. So if you're going to say that,
but we don't get to partake in that.
Yes, you do. If in fact, if you have,
we got to go through the rigmarole.
I mean, if you have a prescription.
Yeah, but out of state.
Oh,
Our weed goes to the other state.
I don't think it has anything to do with that.
I don't know. New Hampshire's legal.
Quality of life. Let's see what's the requirements. Let's see. Okay, so quality of life. Here is what quality of life involves.
Okay.
Natural environment and social environment. We rank sixth. Well, I must admit, there's no place more beautiful. I mean, I talked about it all the time. Over every hill there is a creek. We don't have Babbling Brooks, and they have those on the eastern seaboard. We have the creeks here. I just want you to know the difference in a Babbling Brook and a creek.
No.
Don't babble here. And over, we've got creeks, and then we've got the longleaf needle pine, and we've got, I mean, it's very beautiful.
Yeah, you can.
We got the topography from hills to even a mountain there outside of Macomb. Did you know that?
I did know that. I did know that.
Well, I say a mountain, but it's
mound, but you know,
molehill.
And what's in it? More important.
Well, no, this is that's not the mountains along the natural straits. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about actually there's a waterfall. There's a waterfall there in between here and Macomb.
I got you.
I've never been to it. I would look forward to it.
I love Macomb.
I've gone through it very fast. So that's how they measure quality of life. We're sixth in natural environment and social. So I could see that. Natural environment, we do have a wonderful natural environment. A lot of wildlife, deer.
Beautiful here.
But the social environment, how did they come up with that?
I don't know.
We're not that very, I mean, we always consider ourselves the hospitality state.
Yeah, but
It depends on who you are and what you look like.
Right.
I'm just saying. You know.
Roll out the welcome rag.
We're the hospitality, the social environment. Here we are represented by a battle flag. Go figure.
You're right. Come on down. We'll fight you.
Bring your guns.
You can go hills around here. Carry.
All right, folks, let's get to it. We've got a lot of stuff. It's my state, love it or leave it. It's my state, and I'm not leaving it, and you're not going to run me off either. Might as well get that out of your mind. That's the great surprise when people listen to Rip Daniels. Why are you still there? Why are you still there?
Because we own it.
Kidding me? If I have any chance in this great United States, it's right here because it's home. Just saying. My ancestors did it. I know I can do it. That's what the deal is. Don't care how many of you I got to go through. Over, around, under, doesn't make a difference, but you're not going to impair the pursuit of happiness. That's the decision that every person has to make in my great country. And you got to take it as an obligation. Don't go crying about it. Oh, I can't pursue happiness.
It's not fair.
Never been fair. Get over it. All right, where am I going to go here? Do I have to go to Donald John yet? Now?
Well,
I just don't want to.
go to some other stuff if you want. But I mean, you might as well get out of the way, to have the taste.
Don't you get tired of this?
I do.
All the time?
I do.
I guarantee you, if this guy's elected, America's retarded. And I don't mean to say that derogatorily.
How else could you say it?
I mean, don't you just get tired of this? I mean, if you support the guy, don't you just get tired? Do you think the media is coming up with all this? Really and truly. That's what you'll hear on Oxyconservative Talk, I guarantee you. Well, it's the media. They're doing it. The media did the hooker.
Focusing on all these things you said.
They're focusing on, and he's the president. He shouldn't have to be focused on like this. You realize how absurd that sounds.
Dumbest thing ever. I thought the rules change depending on who's in the office.
People always ask me, man, they say, Rip, they see me on Facebook live like I am now. Why do you squint your face up like that? Why do you have those wrinkles around your head? Well, of course, first and foremost, because I had boys. Any parent who had boys, I got news for you. You're going to get lips on your forehead just like that. See those lines across the top? Right there? See that? You got boys? Guess what? You got those. I don't know about girls.
Thank God I have a daughter.
Look at that. See, look how wonderful, look how beautiful Whitlock's brow is. So beautiful, bro.
Thank you.
Barred, no wrinkles whatsoever.
None. Smooth.
All pristine.
Yeah.
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 And prissy. But but once you have them, I'm gonna tell you, once you have children, I know for sure once you have boys.
They're the state, right? You can't
you're not gonna get rid of them. As long as you have them. As long as you have boys, you're gonna keep those. I'm just gonna tell you, you might as well get it. Low neck, big head boys will do that every time. Okay, I guess I have to before we go to Florida because Florida just passed a gun control law, surprisingly. So we will go there. But first, Donald John, and the sort of details here. I've got I showed it to you yesterday. I've got the lawsuit, and let me just tell you, folks, you get ready for this. We're about to be drugged through the gutter. It's not going to get any worse than this. Pimps are going to love it, and possibly prostitutes, hookers going to love it. I'm going to tell you, folks, and I don't doubt just by dealing with this. Look, listen to me closely, and I don't mean to be nasty. When Bill Clinton went through that sleazy hearing with Monica Lewinsky, and then the eventual admission of what is, and you know what I'm talking about. The orifice office there in the White House. Do you know that there was an increase in fellatio in high schools and elementary schools? I'm telling you, folks. I was on the air. I remember Judy was here.
Influence.
That's exactly right. Front page in the news, and you couldn't get around this.
Bombardment.
Yeah. And folks, look, I don't want you to get the impression that I'm some prude. I know what adults do, but there should be a very thick line between what adults do and what children do, and then where it is discussed. And unfortunately, here I am discussing it. And why am I discussing it? Because the President of the United States, starting with William Jefferson Clinton, put that in the news. Now, of course, I choose to talk about it, but it's out there. It is out there. It's in the... your kids right now are sexting. I'm talking about in the 4th and 5th grades with their cell phones. We just talked about this. Before William Jefferson Clinton and Monica Lewinsky, that whole situation, trust me on this, although it may have been out there, it was something that little kids snickled about. They would. Oh, yeah. It's not that little boys weren't going in and looking up under the mattress and getting their dad's Playboys. They were. But this, no. Which is why I thought that Bill Clinton should have resigned once he knew that the jig was up. That then now everyone knows. You should have just left. Don't humiliate your family like that. And it's for that reason. You don't have to justify it. Don't have to confirm it. Just say, look, for the sake of my family, no admissions. Just leave.
Yeah.
And I would say that to any executive anywhere.
And, you know, his record is forever stained.
I'm not going to drag my children through I'm just not going to do that. Oh, yeah, he was doing this. Because that's going to stay. I mean, his grandchildren will read about him and Monica Lewinsky, and his great-grandchildren.
You know, pull up video and, see Granddad lie.
So now here we are, turn the clock forward with Donald John. This has got to be the most any hooker has made keeping her mouth closed.
Wow.
And I'm going to tell you something, folks. What? No, I'm talking about hush money. Oh, you don't go there, Ro. Don't go there.
Silence is power.
I'm not going to let this show, well, I guess it is in the gutter. We're talking about gutterers. It is guttural, I guess.
Porn star. President porn star.
And so now, let me tell you what I wish Donald John would do.
Shut up.
No, pay her.
Oh, well.
I mean, he made it hurricane for her before, and that's the best way to do it now. Because, you see, this guy feels that the cure to any problem is money. Now, I'm going to tell you this. This is how he grew up when you read his book. When you read his book, The Art of the Deal, that's exactly it. Everything boils down to that for him, including how he deals with his children. Really? Really? Just ask his ex-wife. Everything can be solved by how much it costs. Everyone in his mind has a price. Your dignity has a price. How much? And that's going to be his undoing, particularly as being a representative of the government, because he never represented anybody but himself. And so the best way for him to deal with this is to come out. You don't have to admit anything. Just come out, contact her, do another contract. So what is it going to take for you to go away?
How much money will shut you up forever.
Because she's looking at doing book deals, probably somewhere around 26 to 50 million. It's going to be.
Interviews.
I'm just saying. So there's no way around him getting past the fact that his lawyer paid her 130 grand. I mean, come on, folks. Now, you know, I know that the Dog Network doesn't want to deal with this, but you might as well get ready. You're going to have to deal with this because this is a lawsuit in Superior Court in California. And the sordid details of this is that thick. And it's not only that, they actually go in and lay out what it is that what the parties did and didn't do, and what they could and could not do in the future. All tangible private information, blah, 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 blah. I want to go to this. Let's say PP, which stands for Peggy Peterson, PP. PP agrees and warrants and represents that any and all existing copies of the images, text messages, and any property other than as expressly specified in paragraph 3.2 have been turned over and provided to counsel.
Images.
You know where this is headed? You have any idea what we're going to look like when Stormy Daniels, real name Stephanie Clifford, comes forward and says, well, here are the pictures. Don't put us through this. And I don't care how much you want to sit down and ignore. I'm going to watch the Dog Network. I just don't want to hear it anymore. But if I just don't. You've got to ask yourself, if I support this guy, does that not say something about me? I'm going to tell you. And I'm not trying to shame you. I'm just telling you the truth. I mean, how do you even begin to say you support a pedophile, for instance, in Alabama? I mean, a guy who's, you know, I don't know, folks. And so where is it now, bro? So what we're hearing now is that a lawyer came on and said that there is a confirmation, according to her, that there was in fact sex. And so he says, no, it didn't happen. And so now she's going to have some identifying marks, I guarantee you.
Yeah, Trump's lawyers now obtained a restraining order.
All right, someone's going to go, okay, cue the G-strap that was saved. The pink one. The G-string.
His G-string?
That's what look, pull in the DNA. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, the woman knew that she was, in fact, with Donald John. And at the time, he wasn't president. We're going back 10 years, 2006, somewhere in there, right after he had married Melania. I mean, there's no doubt that there's honor among hookers. You know, but every hooker knows that, you know, a John's a John. John is going to look out for nobody but himself.
So does a hooker.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But there's on. Well, I understand that. But what and maybe it takes pimps to talk about this.
I mean, maybe it does, brother. Do you really understand what's happening right now?
Oh.
Do you?
No.
Brother. You see, what you got is a John who thinks he's a pimp, and there's nothing worse than that. You see, because if you were square, you were square, and you'll never be all the way around. You understand what I'm saying? I know you can dig it.
Yeah, I can dig it. But
what you have now is a John in the highest position of power, thinking that he can flex his powers as a pimp flexes, but he don't have the powers of a pimp.
He's just not a pimp.
He is not a pimp, and he would love to be.
It's a John trying to be a pimp.
It's a faker.
That's heavy.
Trying to be a maker.
Man.
All that is a taker.
Huh. I got you.
Now, can you buy that?
Yeah, I think that's better than the way Terrence described it, trying to drive the car. Put your hands on the car. You drive it. I think you're right, bro.
It's what it is.
I think you're right. I think he thought that he was in control of the hooker, and you're never in control of the hooker. You're only in control of your money.
That's it. You took the wrong stance.
And actually, I don't want to say hooker. I want to say prostitute. I mean, that's the more professional.
But you know what? She was not a prostitute. until
that's
2016.
You're right. She was a porn star.
She emphatically asked the president, John, not to pay her.
Did she?
She did. And then when he paid her to be quiet, that made her.
Oh, she was making money anyway as a porn star.
Hey, the camera got.
He just, I got you, brother. I got you.
This is not just, a walker here. This isn't someone you go to the corner and say, hey.
This is a pro.
What's your rates?
You're exactly right.
She is the pimp.
She's the pimp. She's the pimp, bro. And he was, well, don't say it. You know. Starts with a H. Oh, I'm sorry. Starts with a W. Well, it depends on
where you are.
See how we are? See, you see? You see what you've done? You see what you have done to us? You have driven this country down into the gutter.
Trump.
Yeah. Can you imagine these? Oh, yeah, I want to get let's get the businessman. We want a businessman. Let's put a businessman in there. CEO. All right, David Dennison. I wonder if there's a real guy named David Dennison who's going to come out and sue him. All this time, my wife thought it was me.
This is grossly unfounded, and the fact that the president decided to use my name in such a heinous act shows he's unfit for office.
That is all the long line of David Dennison standing there.
For each state.
All these guys with their head hung down, kicking the dirt.
Watch porn.
I don't know her. I don't know Stormy.
Thought she was a superhero.
Oh, Dave Dennison. If your name is Dave Dennison, call me. I want to apologize to you. I want to ask you what your life has been like since, now that it just came out. So there's got to be a Dave Dennison somewhere.
Somebody's got the call. Dave, did you see the news?
Let me tell you what bothers me more than anything else. You see this right here? And this is no, listen to me. Here's what bothers me. This was notarized, ladies and gentlemen. I know if you're looking, now listen to me, if you're looking at this on Facebook, it's reversed. But pull this up, and the one signature, where there is no signature, it is notarized. Erica Jackson, Notary Public, State of Texas. This is right before the election. And by the way, that's breaking the law for a notary. I want to make that very clear.
To notarize something that wasn't.
That's exactly right. It makes me wonder whether it was notarized and then whited out. This is some shiggity. If you're listening and you're a notary or you're an attorney, you see where this is going. This guy doesn't know when to say when. They drug him, and he had to end up with the Trump University paying out, $30 million or so? After 10 years of taking people money and taking them through court for another 10 years. So, I guess all it's going to be from the Erica Jackson, though. They're going to ask Erica. So, Erica, you are Notary Public, so are you? Hey, we noticed you have a stamp there. I don't know. Was it just you just put the stamp there and
Well, they said that he was going to be. They said he was in the lobby and that he was coming. That he was going to sign just right in a minute. So I just went ahead and stamped it just to get it out of the way.
So the question is whether you were stamping for the entire document or just stamping for him. Did he white it out?
Well, he just said that he had to kind of warm his hands up to sign because his hands were so small and he had to get the blood flowing in his fingers to sign it. So I just went ahead and stamped it just to have it out the way.
I'm not even a lawyer. I can see straight through this. Stevie Wonder can see straight through this. And I don't mean that derogatory. This is... what is it going to take, America? Do we have to always go through this? I guarantee you, Oxy-conservative talk radio won't deal with it because they are the Oxy-conservative that they are, and more than likely the Russian Limbaugh, Mr. Married for 4 times, and Mr. Bad Hair Hannity. All they want to do is just circle the wagons. Oh, it's Hillary. Oh, it's Obama. Okay. Let Donald Trump file the charges. Okay. Now, but does that exonerate your guy? It doesn't exonerate your guy. Why can't you talk about this?
I got to bring up something else.
Why can't this guy stop giving a fodder to the... I mean, you can't ignore this. So now there's going to have to be an explanation. So Erica Jackson, there's her name. She's got, let's see, Erica Jackson, Notary Public, State of Texas, expires January 4th, 2020. Her notary ID is 130483626. I guarantee you that Stormy's attorney has already talked to her. I guarantee you that. And it's because the question is whether or not this is valid. And if she said, the notary said that it is, then it's supposed to be. The only proof they're going to have is that it was notarized. It was notarized by Erica Jackson. Erica's going to say, whoa. It was signed when he signed it in front of me, and now it's not there. How did that happen? Or, Erica, you notarized a document that was not there, or you notarized it based upon just the other individuals and not Donald John. One way or the other, either she lied, Donald John lied, or Dave Dennison. This is easily provable. I mean, and I'm not an attorney. I'm sitting here, I'm looking at this, and I'm saying to myself, must we go through this? Pay this woman, move. I mean, if you just want to, or else, if it's ever a time, ladies and gentlemen, I think that this right here could actually result. Let me tell you what. Here it is, a man's secret. You ready for this? You know what topic men lie about most?
Their feelings.
Sex. I'm just saying. This is how it caught Bill Clinton, and it's going to catch Donald John the same way. Hang on, folks. We'll be back.
It's about that time to get away. Make your reservations, pack your bag.